Morning YouTubes, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to my little review of the Aoocci, however you want to pronounce it. I'm going to say Aoocci. It's the C6 Pro. Now I bought this a few weeks ago for my new to me touring barge, my BMW R1200 RT. But obviously you can fit this to pretty much any bike, space allowing, because obviously there's a fair bit of wiring involved, and some of the wiring is it's not bulky, but if you've got a sports bike that are really tightly packaged, you might have some problems. So what I'm going to do first of all is give you a quick rundown of how I've got it fitted to the bike. If you've got a touring bike, adventure bike or whatever, it's probably going to be fairly similar, because at the end of the day a bike like that is a bike. It's going to have spaces and pockets that you can hide the wiring behind panels. Sports bike wise, maybe take some panels off and see how much space you've got before you buy. But either way, let's have a quick walk round. I'll show you the bike, how I've got it fitted. We'll run through a couple of features, and then I'm going to head out on the road, because it's not a bad day today in the UK. It's 11-12 degrees. I might put the heated seat on, tart, yeah, whatever. But I'm going to give it a road test, because I've got the cameras fitted, try and have sun into the camera and reflection off of the wet road behind me, and see what I can do. I'm not going to be riding at night, but daytime use is going to give you a good idea. So let me just pause this, flip the camera around, and I'll show you how I've got my setup. So there we are, and a barge it is too. That's the old RT for you. So what we have here is you see the camera, look at that, how about that? Aoocci C6 Pro. I have fitted the screen protector that came with it, which was nice and easy, because I left the little plastic screen on there until the last minute, so I could peel that off and do it. So you've got the unit mounted obviously up on the dash there. How you mount it on your own bike is going to be obviously an individual thing. And then my wiring just goes down behind the clocks, and all of my wiring connectors sit under there. If you want to see how I fitted it, I've done another video on that, so search below or search wherever and you'll find it, hopefully. Remote control is on the bar there. Now it did touch my Givi tank lock tank bag, so I fitted this one. It is just on little clips onto there, so it's not going anywhere, but it just gives me a little bit more space. And I don't need a particularly big tank bag, because I like to remove the tank bag when I'm not with the bike, and that can be chucked in a top box or a pannier. Another subject completely. But there's the remote control. Obviously it's wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, so my phone will be going in the tank bag, plugged in. Moving around to the front, under there, if you can see that. Let me get a light, give you a better view. That's better. There we go. There's my front camera, and that is fixed on the sticky pad with a couple of extra screws to hold it in place. So there's the front camera. Let's spin around to the rear and I'll show you that. And there we go. There's the rear camera, again using the original mounting bracket with sticky pads, and then a couple of little pilot holes and a couple of self tappers just to hold that in place, and that gives a decent view to the rear. Obviously the wiring just runs the length of the bike behind panels, and on the RT all of my connectors are underneath this panel, because there's plenty of room. So let's stick a lid on, or some earplugs, then a lid, and then we'll get out on some roads in Kent in the UK, and we'll give it a test. I'm going to try and add some footage as I ride of what the cameras give, so you can get an idea of the quality difference between my GoPro, which I'll be using, which is on my helmet. If you can you see that? Yeah, I'm sure you can. On my GoPro, so I'm going to be running obviously in 4K, and the app I use to edit, I don't really edit, I just use an app to join the videos together and put some funny comments and stuff like that. The app that I use, I don't know whether it's going to upscale the quality of the camera, but if it offers me that option, I won't do it. I'll leave it as it is, which should be 1080. So you'll get an idea of the sort of quality you get, and hopefully you'll see car registration numbers behind me, cars coming across in front of me, and things like that. Because the bottom line on a bike like this is, this isn't a sports bike that I'm going to be tearing around on. So I'm not worried about having a camera on it, because I'm not going to be riding it like I might ride some of my other bikes, which I wouldn't be putting cameras on. You know what I mean? So on the RT, it's going to be a case of either getting something on footage that you wouldn't have got before, if you want to upload it to GoPro or share it with your mates, or not GoPro, YouTube, share it with your mates, what have you. That's going to be the idea of it. It's not going to be, and obviously if you do have someone turf you off, you've got something on there. I'm going to play with the settings because I did turn it off, but there's a sound option for the video. No idea what it's going to record from, because there was no external microphone. So all I'm guessing is that the unit itself maybe has a mic in the back of it. We'll find out. You'll either hear sound, or you'll see a caption that I've put in that says no sound. I've got comms kit in my helmet, a center intercom, so I'll have a play with the music and just see how the system works. I'll try and talk you through it as I'm doing it, because obviously I've got a mic so I can chat while I'm riding onto the GoPro. But being a bloke, I haven't read the instruction book, so let's see how intuitive it is for an old man to just start pressing buttons, and we'll see how we get on. So in the usual British way, without further ado, let's hit the road and let's see how we get on. Catch you in a bit. Hello YouTube's right, you join me riding now. Well, I say riding, I'm not riding, well I'm riding, well I'm sitting on a motorcycle, but you get the idea. Right then, I've had a bit of a play with this while I've been out. Excuse me, I've been out for a little while, so I've been playing with it. What I have noticed is the screen is it's reactive enough, but obviously it is slightly laggy, but I can live with that. I did have it set to night mode, so I did record a bit and I re-recorded it because it was crap. The dot button there, if you press that, brings up the various icons and you can select camera, and you can select the other settings. Now obviously that's my rear camera. You see I've got 0 miles an hour, so I have activated the miles per hour setting. The red light means it's recording. It should have audio, it should have stuff like that, but we'll find out when we get going. So that's my, oh no sorry, that's my front camera. Yeah, I'm looking ahead of me thinking that looks familiar. That's my front camera. Now if we move down to remote control, if I go back to home, so let's press that, let's press the home icon. I'm going to take my glove off because it is easier without gloves, and you shouldn't really be playing with this while you're riding. We know that we always will, or that we all will, but oh, I'm pressing the home button. I am on home, you idiot. So let's go to CarPlay, recenter. So it works absolutely fine when you're doing it like that, and then obviously you can bring up your various icons. Press the button there, that the obviously the normal Android Auto button, and you've got your apps and whatever you've got loaded to Android Auto. Remote control wise, so if I press the top button, that will start and stop my music, if you can see that, and then press it again to pause the music. So that's all good. Press the middle button that has the camera icon, fun enough, goes to camera, and then using the bottom icon you can spin through the cameras. So that's the rear camera, car's about to go past me, there we go. Press it again, you get cameras side by side. Press it again, side by side, but the other way around for whatever reason. And obviously back to front camera, back to rear camera. So you could use it as a very good rear view mirror if your mirrors weren't too good. Now I'm quite lucky they're pretty good on these, so it's not an issue. And then press the center camera button and that takes you back to Android Auto. Now I did have a bit of a play with this, and obviously you got the microphone button. Press the microphone button, navigate to Ashford. Oh, I probably didn't do that properly, did I? Cancel. I've confused it. Let's let it work itself out. Back in a sec. Let's give it another go. Navigate to Canterbury. Costco. I don't want to go to Costco. Cancel. It did work earlier because I did navigate to home and it worked perfectly. Navigate to Ashford. Ashford. Arse. Navigating to Ass. Right. You get the idea. It's going to be as good as the microphone is, and obviously mine's not fantastic at the moment. Oh, I don't want Calais Critter. I don't want to go to Ass. Anyway, you get the idea. So I'm going to go for a ride now, and I'll let you know what it's like riding with the screen, the visuals. Obviously you can swipe to full screen. It is the same. If you've used Android Auto, you're going to know, or Apple CarPlay, you're going to know how this all works. I would say it was better without the screen protector. There's a nice glass tempered screen protector on there now that comes with the kit. I would fit that anyway, but it works fine with gloves off. It is just with winter gloves on, it's not so great. Summer gloves it might be better, and these haven't got any of the pads on that obviously you can use to press your phone and stuff like that, so that might also be the difference. But so far so good. I'm impressed. So let me go for a bit of a ride, do a bit of recording front and rear, and we'll see how we get on. We're back. Now I've got to say I have probably done about 20 or 30 miles so far with this fitted, and I'm impressed. The screen is nice and easy to clear, the remote works fine, you can swap between, as you can see, press the button, you can swap between maps and cameras. Top button, let's put some music on. There we go, that works perfectly. Hopefully you can't hear that. Not because it's the Foo Fighters, everyone loves the Foo Fighters, don't they? But because obviously of copyright, so let's stop that. That's nice and easy. As I say, the only thing that I would say is the voice activation is hit and miss, but you're on a motorcycle, it's probably going to be, because you know, it's whatever mic you've got fitted to your helmet that's then working through to your phone. Now I can see there's a car coming up behind me, so let me just swap around the camera and let's see how quick that comes into view and whether you can see the registration plate. But these roads are greasy, slippery, horrible today, and because they're quite narrow, you get a lot of trucks down here, and if they scoot into the verges, they kick up no end of crap onto the road. So I'll be taking it a little bit steady, because I don't want to chuck this barge down the road. Not because it would be damaged, I don't think it probably would, it would make a big hole in the hedge somewhere, but because it's a heavy bugger to pick up. But yeah, these roads are pretty bad. Sod's law, that car's turned off. Right, let's flip round to front camera. So using the remote control, pressing the bottom button, you cycle through the options of side by side, and then we go to front camera. Right, oh, they're flashing me through. Thank you very much. So what I'll do is, I will, as I say, I'll put some of this footage on, and I'll try and put the footage on that's relevant to, obviously, that little bit there with parked car, oncoming, you know, rubbish lorry, rubbish truck, whatever you want to call it, and the car that flashed me out, and we'll see how that looks, and that will be in just a second now. So let me pause this, I'll add that clip in and we'll see what it looks like. Back on quickly while I'm just at this junction, just so that you can see the wide field of view, because I've lined myself up bang on with that as a telephone post, and you can see obviously the signs over there. You can't see the boat lane sign, but you can see as far as the other signs there. So that's going to give you, if you can see that, an idea of what you can see. And I would say that is a plenty big enough view for anything that's going to be coming out in front of you, because obviously by the time you're a better distance away, like you are now, that's not going to be so much of an issue. But yeah, I'm really impressed with this system, I've got to say. I purchased this in November of 2025, and including shipping and taxes with the exchange rate, it cost me 130 quid. Now there's not a lot you can buy for that sort of money. Yeah, I'm really impressed with it. It all works very well. So if you're thinking of getting one, I would say, yeah, hit the button and go for it. It's going to be easy to fit, as I mentioned earlier, on a tourer or an adventure bike where you've got spaces to hide the wiring. It's going to be less easy to fit on a sports bike, but then it's not really designed for sports bike riders, is it? It's designed to go on stuff like this, or to go on your GS's, or to go on your Triumph Tigers or your Multistradas, or whatever really. Alright, let's let this van through, because he's bigger than me, and then you'll see what comes up on the camera here. We've got a bit of light towards it, but let's just see what you can see on that. So I'll add that bit in now as well, bear with me, you should see that in just a second. The old hedge trimmers, they're prevalent this time of year, and it's a bit of a nightmare because they chuck all sorts of rubbish and muck onto the roads, and I don't think they really care. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to crawl a little bit closer to this car and see if you can read the registration plate. I don't know whether you can read it on my GoPro. I might try and zoom that in a little bit if you can, but let's go to cameras. What am I on? I'm on rear view, so let's scroll through to front view, and then let's see if you can see that on the camera. I'll try and insert a screenshot of that just to see if it is obvious to see, and that will give you an idea of what the camera's like. Now this screen, as in the bike screen, was completely clear when I left, and it has got a fair bit of, not a fair bit, but it's got a little bit of muck on it already from muck that's been sprayed up off the roads. So obviously the camera lens at the front is going to be the same as that, so that may cause an issue, but it's the same as, you know, the cameras on your car, your reversing camera, what have you. How many times do you finish a drive, go to park your car, you put the car in reverse, look at the camera screen, and it's just this sort of blur where the muck has got all over it. So it's that sort of thing. You will have to keep clean and give them a wipe every now and then. But yeah, I've got to say, I know I've said it before, but recommended. If you're going to go touring and you want to have a device that has got the facility to use cameras, to maybe record an extra bit of footage for your little YouTube channel or whatever you want to do, well, that's a big bump, then this seems to be working well. Well, you just see if it works well because you see the quality of the images. So what I'm going to do now, just before I end this video, is I'm going to run down to the nearest motorway junction, which is probably, I don't know, 15-20 minutes along the lanes, and then just pop it down the motorway, and towards the end of the video I'll add some footage of motorway travel, because let's face it, if you're on a tourer, a lot of your journeys are going to be well, if you're travelling through France, it's normally you jump on the motorway to get the worst bit of northern France out of the way, or you're on sort of fast sweeping A roads. So let's have a look and you'll see what sort of quality that gives now. Catch you in a bit. just pop the camera back on while I'm going through Dymchurch, which is a a little seaside town in Kent, just so you get an idea of what the footage is like through the town. So let me swap to camera. Here we go, there's my front view, which hopefully looks fairly good. I might try and put a little bit of that above, or at least a screenshot above. And then let's swap to rear view. There we go, there's rear view. There is a car behind me that's closing up. Hopefully you'll get a little bit closer and then you'll see what it's like. And then that will give me an idea of what I could see in the mirrors as opposed to what I could see car wise. Now I've got to say that although I can see the car very clearly in the mirrors, as I'm sure you can, it is just a little dot on the camera. So I probably wouldn't be using that as a proper camera, because if something's coming up quick behind you, you will see that in the mirror, but you might not see it on the camera if you're doing a, like a right turn and they go to overtake you or something like that. So that'd be a little word of warning, but otherwise it's pretty good. I'm impressed. So next thing, motorway. Let's give it a spin down the motorway and we'll see what that looks like at motorway speeds, and they will be UK motorway speeds because I've got the clock on there, and the speedo on there, and the speedo obviously down there that I can't be bothered to blank out. So it will be proper motorway speeds. We'll give it a go and we'll see what it looks like. Right, mini rant time. It's actually cleared up a little bit since I didn't press the button. There's a building site back there, and literally this road is just a sheet of mud, and there's some token effort to clear it up. I mean, look at the state of it. This is absolutely unbelievable. This is going to be like ice. I mean, obviously I'm being super careful on the throttle and the accelerator and all the other inputs, but look at this. This just goes forever. It is shocking that they're allowed to do that. Anyway, rant over. Back to the Aoocci review. Cheers. Right then, a little while later, I've made my way to the sort of nearest motorway junction. It will give me a run down the motorway towards where I live. So let's pop it on the motorway. I said motorway about 5 times, didn't I? And we'll see what the images are like. Obviously you can see I've got a car in front of me. Let's go back to the camera view. What are we on? We're on rear camera. Now let's have a look, just out of interest. Okay, there is nothing behind me because I can see. Just do a quick shoulder check anyway. But yeah, there's nothing behind me. So let's pull out. Let's keep an eye on the speed. I'll try and see if I can put it to a bang on 70 on the old BMW Speedo, and we'll see what it says on the little display there. So I'm saying that's bang on 70 BMW, and that says 68, and that's off a GPS antenna. So I would say that the BMW system, or the BMW Speedo, is pretty accurate. Let's just scroll through the camera settings. So you've got front and rear, one side, front and rear, the other side, and now front camera. So that's going to give you a bit of an idea of what it's going to be like at motorway speeds. So hopefully that will help you and make you, or give you a better idea of whether you think this is going to be good for you. So front camera, rear camera. Look at where it's the same, don't they? Which obviously means I've got the settings about, so I might just adjust the angle of the rear camera. What do we reckon? We reckon that's a little bit off. We'll have a play with it. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video and you think you're going to get some use out of it, let me go back to the CarPlay. You're going to get some use out of it for the old Aoocci C6 Pro, then give us a like and a subscribe and all that sort of rubbish. There will be lots more bike content on this channel. That's what I do, bike stuff, with the odd bit about cars, only because I find my car quite interesting. And we'll see you soon. So as usual, if you're riding, stay safe. If you're not riding, sit at home, watching crap videos about stuff like this. And take care all. Catch you next time.